Good evening, everyone. Chief Meteorologist James Zahara here in the Storm Track 8 Weather Center. Glad you can join us here on the News 8 Plus app. This is where we give you kind of more of a little detail of what to expect as we go through the rest of the work week, the weekend, and more importantly, going into next week, of course, being Thanksgiving week. And that's when we see a big change in those temperatures and maybe the possibility during that weekend that we could be seeing maybe a few flakes of snow here and there. But we'll get to that in just a little bit. Today, it was pretty wet. It was pretty gloomy. It was nice to see some of the rainfall. We had amounts ranging from about 1/10 of an inch of rain that we heard in areas along Highway 34 and points southward to close to 1/2 an inch of rain the farther north of the Quad Cities as you go. Here in the immediate Quad Cities, I think we had about maybe just over 3/10 of an inch of rain from these waves that started last night and made its way through around the lunchtime hours around here yesterday. Because of that saturated air, you can see for daytime highs, temperatures didn't do much, only climbed their way around the low to mid 40s, though a little farther southward, kind of averaged around 50 degrees, which is about the norm for this time of year. Here's our radar and satellite loop, and this goes about 18 hours. You can see that as we kind of finish this loop going into the afternoon hours, that leaves behind a lot of clouds. But this started late last night, just before midnight itself, and then that next wave came in during the wee hours of the morning with some rumbles of thunder, and then there's that wave that came in right near lunchtime before fading in the form of clouds and even a little mist to go with it as well. And I think we'll continue to see a little bit more of that mist for another couple of hours or so, and then it's just caked in clouds for the rest of the night as the main storm system moves away, leave behind a very saturated, very little mixing type of atmosphere across our neck of the woods. And those clouds, I think, are going to hang tough as we go through, I would say, the rest of the work week. You might see some improvement on Friday, but this is system number 2. Now, we've been kind of tracking this for the past number of days, and the model is still saying it's going to be very consistent in keeping that track well to the south, meaning that the main rain axis that's going to be taking place will also be well to our south as well. Now, the dry air that's going to be building in is still not going to be strong enough to keep the clouds away. It's very shallow in nature as far as that level of stable air. So that's why we're going to be throwing some additional clouds across our skies going into Wednesday, going into Thursday, and I would say most of Friday before we see a nice improvement in those skies going into the weekend. You can see with our future track, things looking rather cloudy, and with that air fairly saturated, upper 30s, around 40, can't be ruled out. And if the winds stay light enough, we could be talking about a little fog by the morning commute. We'll be keeping an eye on that and give you an update on Good Morning Quad Cities tomorrow morning. Here's our future track once again. Lots of clouds for the first half of the day, lots of clouds going into the second half of the day as well. But we remain dry. However, when you're dealing with all that cloud cover, it's not going to allow temperatures to climb too much. I think we'll still be seeing lots of numbers in the upper 40s. There could be 1 or 2 hometowns where we could be talking about temperatures maybe right around 50 degrees. Now, with that system tracking to our south and west, is going to turn those winds in these next couple of days. Fortunately, going into Thursday, I should say, we get that warmer wind. So yes, that's not a misprint, folks. I think a good 60-degree temperature is going to be certainly easy to make going into Thursday afternoon for the daytime high. So that would be a good day to take care of some outdoor plans. And then as that system to the south tracks a little bit more off to our south and east, we turn those winds a bit more out of the north and east, and that's where we see those temperatures make their way around 52 degrees. By the time we get to about Saturday is when we see those skies greatly improve, leading to a really nice autumn day on our Saturday with a high of around 54 degrees. But what's interesting is, folks, that's not the weekend's best, because the 60-degree temperature we saw on Thursday could very likely be reached again or come pretty close as we head to Sunday with a high of 59 degrees. And then going into Thanksgiving week, not looking too bad on Monday, though later on Tuesday, we're still on track in seeing a few scattered showers. And I think that will be a system that's going to draw in even colder temperatures as we get to Thanksgiving Day itself. Thanksgiving Eve for travelers out there looks fine. Thanksgiving Day for travelers, it looks fine. It's just going to get even colder, and we're going to keep those temperatures pretty chilly heading into the rest of that Thanksgiving weekend. Now, we could be talking about some snow showers on Black Friday, but keep in mind it's a trend, and it's only like flakes flying around that we see right now. Nothing that's really organized or phasing to produce really any type of accumulation. And then as we get to the end of the Thanksgiving week, the weekend, maybe on Sunday, we may be talking about a possible rain-snow mix, okay? Now, for travelers here around the Midwest, I want to show you this map going into November 26th to December 2nd. You see it in the very top, and at that top part is being covered up that says a risk of heavy snow. And you can see areas to our north and west. There's actually a slight risk. It's a kind of a 20 to 40% chance that there could be some heavy snow falling in this general area. What do we mean by heavy snow when we talk inches? Maybe 4 or more inches could take place within that general area, okay? So this is from NOAA itself regarding the trend that we see. It's an experimental model that we could be seeing that possibility of accumulating snow. So any travelers out there who are heading farther to the north, up in northern Wisconsin, Minnesota, Dakotas, parts of Nebraska, just giving you a heads up that that's where we could be talking about maybe some snow accumulation. But around here locally and points south and east, just don't see that. And that's why going into our local area for the Thanksgiving week, and I'll bring up that 14-day tracker up again, you can see how going into Friday and Sunday of that Thanksgiving week and weekend, I'm just calling for just a few innocent flakes and maybe a light rain snow mix possibly by Sunday. But keep in mind, folks, it is a trend, and that's something that we'll be keeping an eye on as we make our way into next week. But no question, big change in temperatures going into Thanksgiving week. So let's enjoy these days that are coming up, especially on Thursday, and also as we head into about Sunday. That's where temperatures could be right near or even around 60 degrees. And the weather staying dry for both of those days as well. That's the latest we have right now as far as our weather is concerned in the days ahead. Thank you so much for joining us here on the News 8 Plus app. And of course, we'll give you another update, little tweak on that forecast as we get to News 8 at 10. Hope to see you then.